All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Keith Johnson. Thank you for joining me for this edition of Sandy Hook Hoaxers Debunked, brought to you by NewtownPostExaminer.com and SandyHookStalkers.wordpress.com. Make sure you put www. In front of both of those websites. Well, today, actually, we're going to call this episode Sandy Hook Hoaxers Debunked in honor of the man who we're going to be addressing today, and that is Swansong, a.k.a. Craven S Moorehead, who hails from Manitoba, Canada, I guess just north of the U.S. border. And we're going to be reviewing his latest video, Sandy Hook Debunking the Debunkers, which is just freshly uploaded. As a matter of fact, it's been on that website of his, Insanemedia, on his YouTube channel, for just a few hours. I just viewed it for the first time a few hours ago and immediately put this together after I took care of a few other chores. And Craven and I, or Swansong and I, we have a history. We go way back. Let's just say we have a history as far as Sandy Hook goes. As a matter of fact, I have a few articles about him on my websites. If you go to sandyhookstalkers.wordpress.com, you'll find this article, Insanemedia, Meet the Old Boss. Now, Insanemedia is his website. Go there at your own risk, folks, because in this article I point out that Craven is partnered with a German-born woman who is the wife of a U.S. Army captain by the name of LaShawn Bush, who just so happens to be a captain with the U.S. Army Cyber Command. And if that doesn't alarm you or concern you, then, well, hey, that's your business. But anyway, like I said, folks, visit his website at your own risk, because it could very well possibly be used for phishing for IP addresses. Anyway, I suggest you also visit NewtownPostExaminer.com, another one of my websites, where you'll find a couple articles about Craven. This one here. I'm not going to say too much about it. If you care to read it, go ahead and do so. And this one kind of speaks for itself in the title. Again, I'm not going to elaborate. Just invite you to check it out if you wish. But enough for introductions. Let's go ahead and delve into reviewing his latest video, Sandy Hook, Debunking the Debunkers. The debunker being yours truly, though interestingly enough in the description of the video, he does not refer to me by my name. And as a matter of fact, unless I'm mistaken, throughout the video, he doesn't refer to me by name, but has more colorful ways of describing me. In his video, I'm referred to Wiener, Wang, and Pecker. Of course, this coming from a man called Craven S Moorehead, which leads me to believe that he has a preoccupation or obsession with male genitalia, which is neither here nor there. Getting back to his video, the basis for the first part of his quote-unquote debunking, which is what we're going to discuss here today. There's a part two that I will get to later. But the basis of the first part of his debunking is my video, Pest Control, my policy on Sandy Hook hoaxers, which is not a debunking video at all. It simply discusses my policy on Sandy Hook hoaxers that visit my website. Now, in this video, I briefly touch on a recent story about Chipper Jones, formerly of the Atlanta Braves, who came out and tweeted this. So the FBI comes out and confirms that Sandy Hook was a hoax. Where is the outrage? What else are we being lied to about? And I mention that that information that he is repeating has been thoroughly debunked. And that's pretty much all I say on the matter. So in essence, I have given Craven or Swansong nothing to debunk. I've just made a casual statement that it had been debunked. So what does he do? Instead of debunking anything, he just reiterates the claim, bringing up the FBI report that shows 0 deaths in Newtown for 2012. Then he throws in this FBI report, which predates the other FBI report by a month, and it does mention the deaths in Newtown. And his argument is basically, well, if they mentioned it here in this report, how come they didn't mention it in the report that came out a month later? Well, my only comment on that is that the only thing these two reports share in common is that they came from the FBI. One is a statistic and the other is a report on active shooter incidents. But nevertheless, let's move on. Finally, he brings up another page on the FBI website, Critical Incident Response Group. And as you see in that yellow box, there's this quote-unquote suspicious date of 12/13/12, which is, of course, one day earlier than the shooting actually occurred. And this, of course, sparks the imagination of hoaxers. Oh my gosh, are they admitting that this so-called incident happened a day earlier and that it was actually a drill? And well, Craven doesn't offer much in way of an explanation there. He just points that out. What he doesn't do is click on the link, which I do here. And when you do so, you find that, yes, the shooting occurred on December 14, 2012. So anyway, that's Swansong's argument right there, which is really not a debunking at all. As I mentioned, he's simply reiterating the claim. He's not refuting any claims that I made in my video. Now, let's listen in as he sums things up and notice the words that he uses, folks.
To be clear, what I'm saying here is the report that shows 0 deaths in Newtown was released in October. And if we're going to use that as a smoking gun piece of evidence because it's from the FBI, then we also have to use this PDF file as proof of something as well, I assume. And since this one was released a month earlier, and does actually contain a full detailed description of the shooting in Sandy Hook, there must be a reason for why the other report shows 0. I don't know what it is, but I present this to you to hopefully quell some of this 100% proof smoking gun stuff about the FBI report. The 12/13/12 date is boggling to me. Why they leave it there still to this day, I can't even begin to imagine.
Okay, so there you go. Repeating what he said. If we're going to use this FBI report as a smoking gun, then we have to use this PDF file as proof of something, I assume. Then he says, there must be a reason why the other report shows 0. I don't know what it is, but I present this to you. Then finally, he says, the 12/13 date is boggling to me. Why they leave it there, I can't even begin to imagine. So you see, folks, he's debunked nothing. Just a lot of head scratching and conjecture, which is what Craven, a.k.a. Swansong, is notorious for. And remember, folks, he's debunking me, supposedly, based only on this video. In other words, this is the only thing he references in his video. This is the basis for his debunking. And that's an important thing to note as we listen in to this next clip.
The point here is to examine all the information in an unbiased manner in an effort to hopefully arrive at the truth. And the truth is, this 0 death stat for Newtown is sketchy as hell. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if it was nothing more than some clever bookwork designed to make us look silly.
Here we go. Once again, folks, need I point out, no debunking going on here. Just a broad statement that the FBI 0 death data is sketchy as hell. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just some clever bookwork to make us look silly. No, Craven, there's no clever bookwork intended to make you look silly. You're doing that all by yourself. But that's not the best part of the clip, folks. It's the first part. Let me play it once again. Here it comes.
The point here is to examine all the information in an unbiased manner in an effort to hopefully arrive at the truth.
Well, if that were the case, Craven, why didn't you examine all the information in an unbiased manner? After all, your video is called Debunking the Debunkers. Instead of focusing on one casual statement I made in a non-debunking video, why did you not even make the slightest effort to debunk an article that I wrote that addresses the debunking of the FBI stats claim? You didn't touch on that at all. And folks, I simply addressed the debunking. Partial credit for the actual debunking itself goes out to my friend Mike, who spells it all out on his Facebook page, Sandy Hook Tragedy, Focus on Facts. Or if you can't find it on Facebook, check out Mick West's post at Metabunk, where you'll also find screenshots of all the government documents that corroborate his debunking. And don't use that BS claim, oh, well, that guy's a shill. No, you examine that information and prove where these gentlemen are wrong. That's the challenge. And in case you don't want to take the time and trouble to do that, well, then just keep listening and I'll give you a brief rundown. Now, here's what Craven won't tell you. Using the same report that he references in his video, we come across this thing called Table 8, Data Declaration. And when you scroll down, you come upon this entry here, a methodology. The data used in creating this table were from all city and town law enforcement agencies submitting 12 months of complete offense data for 2012. So, where does this data come from? In the form of uniformed crime reports. And what are they? The FBI's UCR program is a nationwide cooperative statistical effort of more than 18,000 city, university, and college, county, state, tribal, and federal law enforcement agencies voluntarily reporting data on crimes brought to their attention. All right, so armed with this information, we go back to Mick West, and as he points out, Connecticut's UCR report on page 4. They even have a dedication there to the victims of the Sandy Hook shooting. But then you go down here further, and like the FBI report, folks, it shows 0 murders. However, there's a footnote, and if you follow that footnote, it says does not include 27 victims of Newtown mass shooting. See State Police Miscellaneous Report. We scroll down, we go there, and it specifically notes the 27 victims, but excludes them from the statistics for Newtown. You see, folks? It's right there. And Mick, like I said, has screenshots of a lot of government documents there which corroborate his debunking, something that Craven fails to do in his video. And that's not all. Swansong Craven also fails to point out this USA Today article that makes mention of this so-called discrepancy. They write, missing information in the homicide data isn't unusual. The entire state of Florida, for instance, does not submit data to the FBI, and for many years Nebraska and Washington, D.C. didn't either. Then they go on to say that they have a 57% accuracy rate, which is really important to consider. Why Craven slash Swansong didn't? Well, I guess you'd have to ask him. But moving on towards the conclusion of this part of his quote-unquote debunking video, he takes this jab at yours truly.
If you happen to stumble across his channel and listen to one of his videos, rest assured that what you are listening to is 100% unadulterated bullshit.
Okay, well, as you're aware, Swansong there's his name there. He's a contributor to this We Need to Talk About Sandy Hook, and my name's there. I don't know what that means, but also his colleagues, Mr. Stosh and Professor Doom, are also listed as contributors. The reason I point these two individuals out is a question for Mr. Swansong. If my work is 100% unadulterated bullshit, then why is it that your colleague, Professor Doom, came out and admitted that I debunked him? You can go ahead and see that video for yourself if you're not familiar with it. I also did a video on Mr. Stosh's DNA analysis, and after I did so, he was kind enough to stop by my channel and made this very pleasant comment. And folks, I'm not being sarcastic when I say that he was very pleasant and civil. He said, Keith, I watched your video a while back and I meant to comment on it. For the most part, I think you actually done a good job here of clarifying some things. I don't think it should be called a debunking, but more of a clarification. And since he was civil, I was civil right back to him. And I wrote, thanks, and I can appreciate your point about this being more of a clarification. You're very articulate and make a good presentation. Had it not been for you bringing up some of those points, I would know less about this whole DNA business than I do now. Hopefully, everyone else will have learned from this entire effort. So see, I can be nice. So my question for Swansong is, why is it, unlike your colleagues, you have not come out and addressed those who have debunked you, like C.W. Wade, who calls you out specifically? You have not said anything in your defense about this. Same when Samuel Spilton's called you out. Why won't you say anything? Your colleagues do. You appear to be completely unwilling to own up to your mistakes, including mistakes that I have brought to your attention personally. For instance, on your Insanemedia.com website, there's an article called Sandy Hook Shooting, Where's the Blood?, where you point out a post on Metabunk where I suggest that trauma cleanup companies or crime scene cleanup companies are considered generators of biomedical waste. A claim that you say is absolutely untrue. According to your article, you write, unfortunately, Mr. Johnson missed the boat on this one. Crime scene cleaners are not generators of biomedical waste. A hospital, for example, would be considered a generator of biomedical waste. Unless the crime scene company was responsible for murdering people, they could not in any way be considered a generator of biomedical waste. As you know, Swansong, I have proven that you are incorrect by specifically pointing out this link where it says regulated medical waste compliance. In every state except Arizona, trauma and crime scene cleanup companies are considered the generator of the medical waste, i.e. bio. And even though I have brought this to your attention on several occasions, you have elected not to update your article. You would rather keep your audience in the dark than have your ego bruised. And then more recently, I helped you solve this mystery. Remember this video of yours, Sandy Hook and the new Yankerville PD? This is what you had to say about that.
One police vehicle in this photo that's always given me a real pain is this one right down here. I have not yet been able to positively determine exactly where that car is from.
Mr. Swansong, Craven, you'd been scratching your head about this for months. I found out in a couple days, did a video on it. Then I sent you a personal message, said found out where the black and white came from in case you are interested. After that, you went on your comment section and you said, oh, turns out it was a Newtown Cruiser, brand new 2 months earlier. So they did have more than one style. You didn't tell anybody where you got that information, which was from me. I got no attribution, no credit whatsoever. Instead, what you tell people is everything on my channel is unadulterated bullshit. Doesn't seem fair. Oh, and that ain't all, folks. As a matter of fact, there's a little secret that Craven /Swansong/Swan is hiding from you. It's a secret that he and I only know about. You see, I contacted him on Facebook a little while back, and I proved to him beyond a shadow of a doubt that an article he had up there was completely false, that he was suggesting that one person was somebody else. And come on, Swan, admit it. You found the information compelling. You said that you would actually even remove the article, or that you would at least do an update. But you failed to do that. So you're keeping your readers in the dark. You're giving them false information just because you don't want to come out like a man and admit that Keith Johnson proved you wrong. That's not just being dishonest to me. That's being dishonest to your audience. Shame on you, Craven. Okay, just to wrap it up, one little humorous note. In his video, he has a picture, a version of this picture of me without the writing there, which really makes me out to look like an asshole. Well, you know, folks, he lifted that right from my Facebook page. It's not something I was hiding. And there's a story behind this. And it has to do with Craven himself. You see, what inspired me to post for that picture is because just before that, he came out with this picture. You see, for a long time, we didn't know what this guy looked like. And his Facebook account had been suspended for quite a long time. Then he comes up with this photograph. And we're all laughing. All my friends on Facebook were saying, oh, look at the guy shirtless, tattoo on his shoulder. It looks like just total white trash, white trailer trash. And I said, you know what? I can one-up him. I've got tattoos, so I'm going to throw on a wife beater, and I'm going to put a photograph of myself on Facebook. So that's where this all came from. And we've had a lot of fun watching the comments there at the Sandy Hook Hoax Facebook page. Yes, I've been the butt of many jokes, and it's been I'm the man they love to hate. Let's put it that way. Okay, well, that's going to wrap it up. Like I said, there's going to be a part 2 to this, but it'll probably come later than sooner because I had a lot of projects pending. In the meantime, check out these websites and stay tuned to this channel because there's more where this came from. Till next time, this is Keith Johnson signing off.